Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today we are having the Ardnamurchan The Midgie 2025. The Ardnamurchan is actually a distillery. This is not just a brand, this is a distillery. It's from the independent bottler Adelphi. And I've done a whole distillery video about them. What was that, 2022 or something, 3 years ago? And there's a lot of story about who actually founded it and what did what. But all in all, they are producing already since 2020, so 5 years. And yeah, so this is one of their new products. And I do love the idea because they called it Ardnamurchan The Midgie. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to bring out a bottling called The Midgie, and I probably will, because this is a very, very, very common animal of Scotland, and yeah, nobody likes it. Nobody likes the midgie. It's also known as the Scottish Air Force, as it's a flying mosquito. And it's inhabited in all the warm swamps and bogs and all these kind of regions of Scotland. So if you go to these peat bogs and you wander around there and you see the heather and everything is just nice, and what you don't see on these in these movies or in these clips from all the distilleries, that you're just doing that all the time because there are tons of mosquitoes living there. And these mosquitoes in Scotland are very special because they are so very, 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 very small. And they are, I would say, a little bit smaller than a needle pin, I would say. So you don't have anything, like you don't see like a little mosquito with legs and wings and stuff. You just see a very, very, very little dot, and then suddenly it begins to itch. And that is the story of when you walk through the marshes and the peat bogs of Scotland. Yeah, I did that once in Islay, and it's not just the midgies, it's also the ticks. There are numerous there. So anyway, here they do have a very nice picture of the peat bogs. And yeah, I think the region around the Ardnamurchan distillery is very, very scenic. It's very, very remote, and that also means very, very midgie territory. Yeah, and yeah, the whiskey here is a combination of 75% unpeated and 25% peated malt, or peated whiskey from the years 2017, 18, and 19. So it's probably, I don't know, distilled and bottled by Ardnamurchan Distillery, unfiltered natural color. Strange, I thought they started in 2020. No, I think they brought out their first whiskey in 2020. I think I had it wrong. If you would like to know the real story, because I can't remember all the stories of all the distilleries by heart, then have a look at the distillery story. But this is not an NDP product. This is the Ardnamurchan stuff. Yeah. And if you'd like to know more about it, there's a QR code that says "Discover Me," and it probably still tells you a little bit about the story, what's inside the bottle. 48% ABV, a natural color, unchill filtered. So they are really, they're doing it for the experts. When I was there, they were currently doing a lot of, they were doing champagne casks. I think they had good connections with France or something. The proprietor was partly French or something. And what they also do is, this region also has a bit of foresting, and I think they have 100% CO2 neutral. I'm not quite sure if they're now already 100%, but they have. When I was there, they had a wood chip boiler, and that was really sustainable what they're doing. Okay, so as I said, unpeated and peated malt, and also a combination between bourbon, about 50%, port wine, and sherry casks. Whereas the sherry casks, they are really, 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 yeah, they're just 2%, 48% port wine casks. Yeah. Oh, this is nice. This is a nice port wine, whiskey. And as they said, 17, 18, 19. So yeah, it's 6 to 8 years old, and you can feel that. It's a nice, medium-aged, a little bit younger, lightly peated, smoked whiskey with a lot of sherry in there. So it feels like a lot of sherry and port wine. A lot of, a little bit of smoke, sweetness, cherries, berries, red wine. Yeah, a little bit of a, if you'd given me that in a blind tasting, I would say a red wine cask finish. And not one of these fortified port wine thingies. Because it really has feels a little bit like a dry red wine with a good amount of oak and a little bit of a sweetness and smoke going on. What it doesn't have in 2-digit age, it makes up in ABV. You feel the ABV is carrying a lot. And the trend for whiskey back in the days when I was young, back in the days when I was just carrying whiskey, not drinking it, everything was kind of 40, 43 was maximum. And then there came cask strength. But now everybody's doing 46 and 48, and it's a good thing. 46, 48 is a good ABV, and this ABV of 48% here gives the whiskey, makes the whiskey really stand out. If that had 43%, I think it would pretty be a mundane bottling, but with the 48%, you can really feel a lot of sherries, all the flavors, all the nuances come through a little bit better. It is a bit more demanding. You feel the 48% ABV as well. It's a nice mixture between normal, I would say Highland style, lightly peated, little bit of a marine flavor in there. They are a coastal distillery. They are very close to a loch, I think a saltwater loch, and as I said, very, very remote, very coastal to the west coast of Scotland, to the Atlantic. Sure, there is the Isle of Mull before them, but yeah, it's a nice little bit of a salty touch to it. Just a smidge of it. I like it, and for such a young distillery, it's a good product. I think I had their products earlier before that, and I was interested in how will they taste when they're older. And this is a good follow-up. This is not a 10-year-old, this is not a 12-year-old, but this is a good 6 to 8 years follow-up of the younger stuff that I had. I like the Ardnamurchan Distillery. They were not on my map since just right before I visited them, because I think they were just open for like 1 or year or 1.5 years before I visited them, and before that I didn't hear much of them. But they are quite a hidden gem still, but they are getting more and more on the map. Yeah. So if you're interested, have a look at Whisky.com. We sell it for around 55 euros there for the Netherlands and Belgium. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.